Next topic is International Phonetics Alphabet.
The history of IPA. In 1888, the International Phonetic Association published the International Phonetic Alphabet or IPA. The IPA is a special phonetic system that is designed to regulate the sounds of spoken languages, and it represents the qualities of speech that are distinct intonation of phonemes and separation of words and syllables. Before the IPA, in 1886, the first version of the IPA chart was formed. It was based on the Roman alphabet, but in order to make it usable for other languages as well, the values attributed to certain symbols were allowed to be different depending on the language. For instance, the sh sound is shu was originally represented by the letter C in English, but for the French language, it was changed to X. This lasted until 1888, when the current IPA was adopted and made uniform across all languages, avoiding any confusion. There have been a few revisions since then as well. Next is IPA consonants. Consonants are defined by three things: voicing, place of articulation, and method of articulation or manner of articulation. So here is the chart of place of articulation. The first one is voicing. It means the vibration in your larynx while pronouncing a consonant. Consonant pronounced with a vibrating larynx are voiced. Those without it vibrating are voiceless. In a conventional IPA table, a voiced and voiceless pairs are written together in the same cell. So you can read below the chart. Where symbols appear in pairs, the one to the right represents a voiced consonant. So the right represents a voiced consonant and the left represents a voiceless consonant. P, T, S, and Ch, K is a voiceless consonant, which is in the left side. And B, D, N, R are voiced consonants. Next is place of articulation. It is where in the mouth that sound is articulated using the various components of the mouth: lips, teeth, tongue, uvula, pharynx, and etc. In conventional IPA tables, the columns contain the place of articulation. So the columns here, bilabial, labiodental, here are the place of articulation. Let's see the explanation of those. Place of articulation. Bilabials involve both lips. Labiodental involve lower lips and upper teeth. Dental consonants are articulated with the tongue at the teeth. Retroflex consonants are pronounced with the tongue literally bending back or flexing back to touch the roof of the mouth behind the alveolar ridge, or maybe even at the heart palate, which is the dome of the mouth. Post-alveolar. It is just as it sounds, behind the alveolar ridge. Alveolar. Consonants are pronounced with the tongue at the alveolar ridge, which right behind the teeth. Palatal. Consonants are articulated at the heart palate, the dome of the mouth. You can see the note here. You can read like the j, but actually it is ya sound. For example, like young. Here, note that in IPA j like this represents ya. For example, like young. Next is velar. Consonants are articulated at the velar. Uvular consonants are at the uvula. No surprises there. Glottal consonants are articulated at the glottis in the throat. Pharyngeal consonants are articulated at the pharynx. Next is manner of articulation. One way of categorizing manners of articulation is by how the flow of air from the lungs is affected by the articulation of the consonant. On one side, you have obstruents, which obstruct the flow of air in some way or the other. On the other, you have sonorants, which don't obstruct air at all and maintain a constant flow of air from the lungs. So here is the manner of articulation. Plosive, nasal, trail, tap or flat, fricative, lateral, fricative, approximant, lateral, approximant. Okay, let's see about articulation. Stops and plosive. Stops are pronounced by completely obstructing all airflow from the lungs, creating pressure in the mouth and then releasing the air along with the pressure in one burst. P, p, k, and etc. Fricatives. Fricatives are articulated by restricting most of their air from the lungs and then forcing them through a narrow channel in the mouth or the throat. A fricative, the IPR representation of a fricate is composed of therefore two characters, one for the stop and the other for the fricative. They may be linked by a curve above, but might not be as well. So here is the link. You can see here, like this. Ch, choice. In English, jump. Nasal or nasal stops. They are pronounced similar to stops, except that air is allowed to pass through the nose while pronouncing them. In contrast, ordinary stops completely block air coming from the lungs, from the mouth, or from the nose. Approximants. Approximants are articulated by bringing the articulators, tongue, roof of the mouth, lips, teeth, etc. close, but by never interrupting the airflow through the mouth. Stops fully stop airflow. Fricatives let a stream of air pass through a narrow tunnel, and approximants don't block the airflow at all. Approximants are most often voiced. Voiceless approximants are rare. Next is trails. Trails are articulated by one component of the mouth, one articulator vibrating against another. Next is flaps or taps. Flaps or taps are pronounced by hitting one articulator, tongue, lips, etc., against another, roof of the mouth, and etc. Lateral consonant. Lateral consonants are all many different types, but where they are all the same is that they allow air to flow through both sides of the tongue, but the tongue blocks air from flowing through the middle of the mouth. Okay. We are here now in IPL vowels. The technical names of vowels tell three things about a sound: the height of the tongue, the portion of the tongue, and the rounding of the lips. So here is the chart of IPL vowels. Okay, the height. Vowel height refers to the vertical position of either the tongue or the jaw, depending on the model, relative to either the roof of the mouth or the aperture of the jaw. In closed vowels, also known as vowels such as E and U, so the jaw is not really far, so it is named as closed vowels. The first format is consistent with the tongue being positioned close to the palate, high in the mouth, whereas in open vowels, also known as low vowels, such as ah, is consistent with the jaw being open and the tongue being positioned low in the mouth, ah. Next one is vowel backness. Vowel backness is named for the position of the tongue during the articulation of a vowel relative to the back of the mouth. As with vowel height, however, it is defined by a format of the voice. In this case, the second, not by the position of the tongue. In front vowels such as E, the frequency is relative high, which generally corresponds to a position of the tongue forward in the mouth, whereas in back vowels such as U is low, consistent with the tongue being positioned towards the back of the mouth. Rounded and unrounded. Roundedness is named after the rounding of the lips in some vowels. Because lip rounding is easily visible, vowels may be commonly identified as rounded based on the articulation of the lips. This diagram or chart, whenever there's a pair of symbols together, the sounds only differ with respect to lip posture, with the left symbol being unrounded and the right symbol being rounded. So here is the chart where symbols appear in pairs. The one to the right represents a rounded vowel. Rounded. The right represent a rounded, so like ya or u, o, rounded like watch your lips, and left represent a unrounded vowels like a. So it's like it's not like this, but like this. It is almost like flat, but literally not really flat. Flat. Okay. The IPA, International Phonetic Alphabet, which were created at the era of linguistics in present century, can be used to present speech sound in a written form. In English language, this is particularly useful since the standard spelling is very misleading when compared to how words are pronounced. So it is the chart. I mean, like the the chart of IPA. There's the consonant and also diacritics, other symbols, vowels, and others. You can say it here. And yeah, thank you for your attention. That is all from me. I hope you can enjoy and also you can get something from my video. Thank you so much.